Good morning, scholars. Let's talk about how to do this investigative research project planning document section number 2. In order to help you with section number 2, it might be helpful for you to see what I did for section 1. So let's just focus our attention here in section 1 to start. For my passions and interests, I went with conspiracy theories, mythology, photography, and games. I ended up choosing conspiracy theories because I felt like that might be a fun one for me to investigate right now. And I chose that because um, that's a lot of these questions that I had here. So I want to know more about how conspiracy theories get created. I want to know which ones are famous, or if there's some that go across the world, or do we just believe them here in the US? Kind of curious why people ignore them when they're pretty interesting. And mostly when I think about it, I want to know if they're real. I think I'm going to end up focusing on this one. I'm not sure yet, so I'm not going to erase anything, but I am going to highlight it just so that it's there and easy for me to see. Here's where section 2 comes into play. Once I know my question or what I want to know more about, I'm going to develop that question. I'm going to start thinking about what questions could I ask myself that would get me learning, get me investigating, get me curious. So, as I think about those questions, I'm probably in my brain also going to be starting to think about this second question, which is what kind of end product do you want to create? I'm going to answer these two questions at the same time. For example, one of my questions I came up with was how might I convince people that a theory is real? So if I want to prove that something like the Loch Ness monster is real or the Illuminati is real, maybe I would end up creating some sort of video show where I talk through a theory and I could do a different episode for each different theory. Maybe I want to put together a slides presentation with lots of informative facts that prove how I know something is real or how I know something isn't real. Another question I could ask would be how might I figure out if a theory is real? So maybe I want to end up creating some kind of step by step guide where if someone hears about a conspiracy theory, they can use this guide to figure out if it's real or not, if it's believable or not. I could also boil it down and say, you know what, I don't want to investigate a ton of stuff. Maybe I just want to focus on something. Maybe I'll focus on is the Loch Ness monster real? Or does the Yeti exist? And if I just choose one conspiracy theory like that, maybe a video show wouldn't be a great idea, but the slides presentation would still work. I could still create a whole presentation about the Loch Ness monster theory or the Yeti theory or uh, how I know it's real or not real. I'm already starting to think about if my project is going to be something informative or if it's going to be something persuasive. Right? There's so many options, and there's really no right answer here. You don't have to be set in stone yet because you'll notice here on our tips, section 2 is what's due today, but you can explore section 3 right now if you wanted. And when you come back to this project tomorrow or whenever you choose to do section 3, you might find that you end up adding to or changing section 2 as you write section 3, and that's a-okay. But I'm going to pause this here. If you want to start section 3 or you want some tips for section 3, you can check out the slides presentation for Thursday. I think it should be posted on the agenda already. But this is section 2. This is all you need to have. Let me know if you've got questions.